right, Ninja, ready? In 5, 4, 3.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 123. And I may have not said it last time, but hopefully you didn't forget that you can find us on all your podcasting platforms. Apple, Spotify, all the good stuff. But this week, you already know we have Claire and Shy.
Yo.
But our special guest, DuckBricks. And we're about to break it down.
Hey, well, thank you so much for having me on. Happy to be here. This is really cool and exciting. I'm always happy to chat and meet more Lego folks. So I'm really glad to be a part of this. And thanks for accommodating the time to do this. I'm looking forward to chatting.
Well, if you're not familiar with DuckBricks, I mean, there is no ignoring the massive collection that's always behind him in not only every thumbnail, but any video done with him. You could definitely see it in many collabs. I think you did one with Beyond the Brick, right, or something like that.
That was before I even had DuckBricks, but that's right. That was actually kind of what convinced me to start a YouTube channel. But maybe that's getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, that is.
Very
right,
first.
So we'll get into that one, which is a perfect segue to who are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for having me on. I'm Chris, aka DuckBricks. I somewhat recently, or it feels recent in my mind, started a YouTube channel focusing on showcasing a Lego collection as well as retelling older original Lego stories and kind of just talking about Lego related stuff called DuckBricks. Started that in September, October of 2020. And it kind of has exploded from there, which is really crazy. Certainly not what I expected. In my personal life, I do get a lot of questions about work and stuff like that. I'm a program manager at Microsoft. I just started last year, so fairly recent, but I graduated actually last year as well from UPenn. So it's kind of a new grad going into work and also trying to do DuckBrick stuff on the side. And obviously a huge Lego fan. And I guess at the moment, I'm trying to amass the Guinness World Record for largest Lego collection. I have counted, and I'm technically above the current record holder. So hopefully, then we can get that through. But that is the goal. And one day, the goal is eventually to open a Lego museum with my collection. So that's kind of the end goal of all of this. But in the meantime, I'm happy to share it on DuckBricks and happy to be here.
That was a really succinct life story. I really like it. So we have your education. Shy, you're on mute already. Fantastic. And then, no, that's really cool. So are you based in Seattle now, I guess, or are you remote and stuff? And did your Lego collection go with you to college? Anyway, we can get into all this later, but very cool. Thank you for giving us a wide span of it feels like you know what you're doing now and you know what you're going to do when you die. That's amazing.
Well, we'll see. Maybe things will change.
We got the breakdown.
Yeah. No, I definitely recognize, for sure. I remember at the beginning, I was like, this guy has a crazy collection. Also, he's very good at walking backwards downstairs.
Right.
And yeah. And I feel like I've watched, quite a few of your videos and stuff, but I think it would be great if at the end of them you had some parody or something of you just
right?
reading it or something. I think that would be a lot of fun. But
or just a blooper video of you just falling a bunch of times. I don't know. So every time I watch your videos, a good chunk of it is is he gonna bump into something? Or is there going to be a little? Is there going to be
with all the stuff?
Does something fall?
Yeah.
I'm so although I'm listening to what you're saying, I'm watch, and I don't do this much when I'm actually watching people in their videos. I tend to listen more than I watch, but I watch to see if one, you're going to hit something that's actually going to fall over, or if I see a cut jump, that means you did hit.
You're
something.
That's where he knocked into it or something.
But for the most part, they're very smooth, and sometimes you'll even see okay, if I was editing, I would have cut that out just because I could see the strap or something. But no, you just keep trugging through.
Yeah,
and it's one take.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch as creators and stuff too. Also, we live in California, right? So we have a fear of earthquakes constantly happening, and it's your collection to me, I'm it's gonna fall because that's how my brain thinks. But I assume if you put it like that, it's not in California. It can't.
No. I as you asked, I am located in Washington State. I was actually born and raised in Washington,
nice.
So I knew after going to college I wanted to go back home, which is why I kind of wanted to. I love Washington. I love the nature and everything. So wanted to live there. Thankfully, not at a huge earthquake risk. I don't think, knock on wood, I don't think I've ever experienced an earthquake in my life. But now that I've said this, I guess I'll come back home tomorrow and find that my collection is in shambles.
No, it'll happen when you come visit in California. Yeah.
And a lot of people, just before we get into that, earthquakes aren't that bad.
No, they happen all the time.
it's scary at the moment, but when it's over, we move on with it.
It's a little wiggle. It's just a little wiggle. But anyway, no, yeah.
Right. Curious, right quick, because you did mention it. What is the Guinness Book of Records for biggest collection for Lego?
I'm pretty sure the number's around 5,000 something. Last time I checked on Brickset, my number is at around 7,000 something. So even if they don't count, like, I don't know, like each individual collectible minifigure, I should be over that. But it's just, I've been away from home for a while working on stuff. And so I haven't really gotten a chance to go through and inventory everything. I think I started the process and they were like, okay, we need you to provide video proof that you have that number of things that you have. And I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen for like 6 months, but I will at some point. I think my friends and I mean, one of my buddies has been really pushing me to try and get this to happen. So I think he's going to come over and help me count. And I think it'll be a fun, like, live thing to do. Like, I'm going to try to count all my Lego sets live. I feel like that would be a fun video to do. So maybe at some point in the future, we'll be doing that. For the
128-hour live stream or something like that. Like, just like going straight through the night, like, you know, but that would be fun. That's a fun idea. Would you like separate it out with per theme? Would you be like meticulous about that? Or are you just going to like kind of like just go ham and just as you're walking down backwards, start counting?
I would assume so. My question is, like, I don't know how much it matters. Like, obviously, I display my minifigures separate from the sets. So I have to be like, okay, here's the set. The minifigures were like over there, but here's the set. If it's missing a piece, I don't know. Like, okay, like there's one piece that's off of this set. Does that no longer count? I'm very curious what, like, who. I was like
how specific they're going to get. Yeah.
Right. To judge this. Like, I feel like if you're calling someone to judge the size of someone's Lego collection, I mean, I feel like you should be calling me, but now I don't know if you're judging my own collection. Who do you call? So, but
don't they have to be present for this, or someone from Guinness like have to be there to witness this happen?
So I've heard. I don't know. I really have no idea. So I guess I'll find out in the next few months. But it should be a fun time.
Wow. I mean, you've been recording it for a minute now, so there should be no question at that point. But I mean, if Lego says it's a set, even if it's a CMF and you have the stand and the
Sans just like told me that like for other Lego Guinness World Records, they have counted every single brick.
Oh,
so just get ready.
So
I don't know, but whatever that means.
Well, I wish whoever could send the best of luck. It sounds like an amazing fun time for them. And
yeah, certainly. I mean, I guess it's like the best opportunity you'll probably ever get to like maybe do a reorganization or like dust everything, or just do like a check that you like any of your pieces are missing and like pull something out of the collection. But man, that sounds like we're moving our Lego collection across the country later this year in the fall. And like we don't have 7,000 sets, but we have like over 2,000, and we have
got a lot behind you.
We have a lot. Yeah, we have a lot, and we have a really expansive parts collection. And so we've logged most of our actual sets. We're like kind of still going back through and like doing the minifigures and stuff, like all the CMFs. But we really kind of were like data people, and we were really interested. We're thinking about like weighing our parts collection because we wanted to like place, mostly we're doing this for like insurance in case like something happens to it while we're moving, and you have to document everything and like have it photographed and like have like show the bricklink price, that market price at the time. But we thought if we had all the time in the world, we would like weigh every color, separate every color of every piece type, and I don't know, that would be really cool. But who has time for that in this world? But I think that would be so neat to do as like a mega Lego
really
nerd.
Okay. Yeah, sidebar. No, I mean, we kind of jumped ahead. Let's rewind a whole lot.
Sure.
We know the extent of your collection at this point, but where did it all begin?
I think that there's the first Lego set that I have kind of memories of was it was actually not really something that looks like Lego. It was a Spybotics set from 2002. And there's, I'm sure that I can dig up at some point, but there's like videos or photos of me. I remember chasing around. It was like a little remote control, almost like a Mindstorms-esque type thing that I remember strong, vivid memories of enjoying as a really young kid. But that wasn't really getting super into Lego yet. I remember my first actual building Lego set was the 2001 Life on Mars shuttle. It was given to me by my cousin who had outgrown Lego. I think it must have been around 2007-ish, 2006, 2007. My cousin had outgrown Lego, and he basically just gave a ton of old discontinued vintage Lego sets to me. This was when I was just really young. I must have been around like 6 or 7 years old, and that's really what got me started. It was inheriting his collection, and then a friend of mine at school had outgrown Lego, and I inherited his collection at like, I think around 2009-ish. And then another friend gave me their collection. And eventually, I think my collection started by people just giving me their existing collections. And I mean, everyone started to know me as like the Lego collector guy. And so it really, I think what really hooked me was the modularity aspect of that Life on Mars shuttle was something really exciting to me. It was the fact that you could split it up into different parts and combine different things together. I was really into that, and I was really into starting to get into stop action photography and movie making, which kind of went over to my other passion of making videos. Obviously speaking, definitely something I really love doing, and it's been a constant in my life ever since then.
My bad. I laughed for a second.
Oh yeah, we were both
didn't
muted.
hear it.
Oh,
Sorry. And then I'm like, look at you now.
Yeah.
So you've been pretty much cooking Lego this entire time. You've never stopped. You never slowed down. You've been like gung-ho the entire time.
Yeah, never had a dark ages. Really, I think it's just been a crazy experience. I feel like I love more and more aspects about Lego each year, especially after starting DuckBricks. I think it kind of exploded from there. I mean, I was a big collector, obviously, but after doing DuckBricks, I started like getting everything, and maybe that was a little bit dangerous for me, but it's been a fun journey.
Before we get into the origin of that, I'm curious, like, of most of the themes available now up until this point, where would you say your percentages of collection, like, to complete?
Ooh, well, the cool thing is that you can actually use the website brickset.com to track all of that, which I certainly have done. So I think the actual exact numbers are there. Maybe not like super accurate for some, because Brickset has everything Lego makes, so it's like, okay, if they bundled 2 sets together in one pack, that counts as a set. Or it's like some random poly bag that's like a regional variant, that's a set.
So the problem with Brickset is that I think they choose some of those random things, but then they don't choose all the random things. So it's like, are you like, it's like commit or not Brickset? Either do like official sets or not. You know what I mean? And to to some collectors, like my partner, like Brickset is, ineffective, while like he likes to do the niche, but for me, I'm like, if it's on Brickset, I check it off and I feel satiated, and like I don't need the like promo that was sent out to influencers for like a Scooby-Doo box. You know what I mean? Like I don't need that. That should be on Bricklink. Like get it out of Brickset. Yeah, that's my thought, but I don't know.
Understandable. No, yeah, it's good for a lot of things. It's good, at least for me, to like keep track of how many items in general I own. The data is hit or miss. I wish there was a way to filter out like standard retail sets compared to everything else, but I have it pulled up. I mean, it looks like I've 100% completed a lot of themes. I think it's probably not going to be too interesting for me to just like list off.
No. I mean, if you were just put it top of your head, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think like it's probably easier to talk about the themes that I don't collect, because I think if there is a theme that I collect, I probably have 100%, or my goal is to have 100% of it. I don't collect all of Dots. I got the entire first wave when it came out, but it just personally wasn't really my thing. I do buy all the exclusive printed tiles off of like Pick a Brick and stuff like that, but the individual sets just not really part of my collection. Yeah, I guess like I don't own any Duplo really. A couple Duplo sets. Wow, I'm really like trying to rack my brains out of like current themes I don't collect. I don't know what's like on Lego.com that I don't collect.
I mean, I'm trying to like go through your videos at the top of my head.
Yeah. How about classic? Just like the parts boxes.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, there is no need for me to get anything classic, because I have enough random unsorted Lego bricks at home. That's a good call. So yeah, classic I don't collect.
That's fair, yeah.
I won't get everything City puts out, but I'll get like most of it, I would say. Same for Friends, although this latest line of Friends has really blown me away. So I think the relaunch that they did for the theme has been phenomenal, and I'm a big fan of that.
It's a better city, as people like to say, it's a better city theme than City.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like how all the hair pieces are not rubber anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm looking at the list of themes, and it's like just classic Dots, and yeah, that's about bit that I don't collect out of what's currently available.
Wow.
So even Technic,
I'm a big Tech. The thing is, I don't actually get to see Technic that much in my videos, but I have a separate room in my collection that like the entire three of the four walls of the room are mounted with like all the Technic sets just
Son of flex.
I never like have a need to walk in there, so I don't think it's shown off too much, but big into Technic. Yeah, I love Technic.
I'm so curious. So like, obviously you started collecting and you were supported, you know, your family supported it and gave you the space. I assume that's your family that gave you the space to do that. And that's so cool that they did that, which is wild that, you know, your parents were like, sure, take over this square footage. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I can't, but that's real. Did they partake at all in it, or was it like 100% your thing?
You know, I mean, I feel like I've built a little bit with my parents, but mostly they're just kind of hands off. And really I think they liked that I was working towards a goal for stuff, because it encouraged me to like run my own businesses and make my own money, even like while at middle school and high school. A lot of my Lego collection, they were like, yeah, you can go crazy with the space, but you gotta buy all the Lego yourself, and you have to figure out like how you're doing this. So I feel like my interest in Lego actually got me really passionate about entrepreneurship and making startups. Like I remember even as early as middle school, our school had like one 3D printer, and I basically just used it to 3D print custom things and sell them to other folks. Like before school dances, I was like, hey, I'll make like a heart-shaped box with your names on it or something. And that was like one of the first things. And then high school came around, and I made like a Bluetooth water purity testing app and presented that. And it was always like going from one venture to another to fund the Lego collection. Eventually, I guess, resulting in a major startup that I worked on over college, which was really helpful, and I would say helping continually fund the Lego collection. But I feel like I owe a lot of my interests and personal life to Lego and to how things like work with Lego, and because Lego inspired me to be creative and to seek out pain points in society and try to like solve problems and create innovations. I definitely owe a lot of that to Lego, because I would not be able to support, I guess, continuing to collect Lego at this scale if I didn't have 1,000 things trying to be run at the same time.
Wow. I mean, at this point, we're not even that far into the episode. I'm totally motivated.
I'm just interested where the name DuckBricks came from.
So DuckBricks kind of, I think, has two meanings. The one that's kind of personal to me is that I've always had this stuffed animal duck from when I was young. He's right here. But it's like the duck that I carry around. I bring him everywhere. All my friends like know about Duckity is his name. I'm very creative with the naming, as you can tell. Really came up with something unique there. But I would bring him around everywhere, and so like he's kind of the unofficial mascot of the channel. Where like if you look at the logo, it's kind of how I draw his face. I drew my logo. I haven't changed it yet. I probably should. It's like, but I drew it on a piece of paper, took a photo, and then put it into Illustrator and just called it good. But Duckity is like the mascot of the channel. It's why it's called DuckBricks. But to a lot of Lego fans, I think when they think of ducks, they think of the wooden duck. More than happy to say that, yeah, like that is like one of Lego's first products. It was the first one that was really successful. So yeah, DuckBricks could also mean the wooden duck. And so I'm happy to kind of adopt that as well. But the real meaning to folks who know is that it is because of Duckity.
Do any of you guys have something still from childhood?
My Lego. I have my Lego.
No, but was there like one thing? I had a teddy bear, something like that I had until high school, and now when I lost everything, that was like my cutoff. But I probably still would have had it today if I still.
Yeah,
had it.
I definitely have like my parents never got rid of anything, so I have plenty of stuff like, to the point that it's too much and it's like quite painful to like get rid of it now. It's like so late in the game that it's like more burdensome and painful. But yeah, no, I definitely have a few plushies, and so does, you know, I think keeping those items like from your childhood is almost the essence of Lego in itself, you know, especially as like adults that collect it. It's, you know, it's enjoying, you know, the memories, the nostalgia, and then, you know, but anyway, it's quite sweet. That's really nice. Did your parents give you that, or like did you just
of course.
Yeah. So that's even nicer.
Yeah. He's been around for a while. You can tell.
Yeah, it sounds like, I'm surprised you never lost him. Like I had a couple like plushies that I was obsessed with, and they didn't make it. They're probably at the bottom of some garbage can and decomposed in some way, which is devastating. You know,
so I'm thinking Toy Story 3 right now.
I've always like anthropomorphized my stuffed animals, and it's excruciating. And then anyway, I don't want to think about it. I'm upset already.
I've got him air tagged up, like I can track his location.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah.
I make sure I don't lose it.
I mean, that's really cool that you like. Yeah, I know you're at home right now, and you still have him with you. It's also good that he's also travel size.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I just gave him gender. I mean, the duck's like travel size.
He is very travel sized. Yeah.
So, fast forwarding. We talked about, you just brought up a little bit that you started sharing your content, or you started making content after the Beyond the Brick. Yeah. Obviously, there's somewhere out there that sparked that connection to their interest. Like, where did you start sharing it to have someone like the O'Hanlons be like,
there's a collection we
need to see this.
Right. Yeah. No, what happened was that during the pandemic, Brickset was doing like meet a member interview stuff. And I was like bored at home, and I was like, okay, well, I've got like I think a fairly interesting setup in my Lego room. Why not like send in some photos and see if they'd be interested in like putting it on Meet a Member. So they put out a Meet a Member article, and I think that was what caught Beyond the Brick's attention. And so they asked if I would be up for doing like a video tour, and I was more than happy to do that. I'd never really done anything YouTube super related before, but I was like, yeah, I'll do like a video tour and showcase stuff. So I filmed that, sent it over to them, and I think I was just kind of blown away by how crazy the response was to that video, where it was like, well, I could make a YouTube channel and I could have put that video on a channel, and that is a crazy response. I think it was really cool seeing how excited people were about the Lego collection. Obviously the setup has evolved a lot over the past couple of years, but the general base structure of like sets on shelves and then stuff hanging from the ceiling, that was really just there for my own enjoyment. I would obviously have friends over and they could enjoy it, but it was never really meant to be public facing. Other than Lego, I'm fairly private, so I never really was intending for that to be a public thing until I was like, yeah, why not? I'm at home, quarantined anyway. Let's do this. And I have to shout out a buddy of mine. He's also into Lego, not as much as me, but that's a little bit hard to find people who are as into it as I am. But he was telling me for years, he was like, dude, you gotta like make a YouTube channel to showcase this. And we were in college, so I was like, yeah, well, I mean, I'm not at home, so I'm not gonna do this now. And like, I don't know, like if this is something I want to do. And he just kept saying, like, during the pandemic, I think there was a point where he would text me every day and he was like, bro, is the YouTube channel up yet? Finally, I was like, all right, I'll do it if you help me out with the first few videos. So if you go all the way back in time and look at like the first like 20 videos we published, like there's just like me and him, like his voice is just like in most of them, because he was like, dude, I'll like help you make the first few of them just to like make you do this, because he was always like, I think you could be big with YouTube. I never really bought into that, but I guess I'm glad I listened to him. And so I think September of 2020 was my first video on YouTube, and it's kind of just blown up ever since. I just converted my existing channel, which did not have really any videos on it. There was like maybe a couple that I'd posted in years before, but I just literally changed the name to DuckBricks, did a rebrand, and it's been really kind of going crazy from there. And I don't know, I guess to some extent I'm really grateful for it, and I really do appreciate that folks are resonating with some of the stuff I put out. But honestly, I feel like a lot of the videos I put out are mostly just like, yeah, I want to do this. Like I would be interested in watching this. They're very unorthodox compared to a lot of videos. I know for sure. Like they're a lot. My average time is like an hour or two, which is insane.
They're all long.
They are all very long, and I have a backlog where since I'm working a full-time job and have a lot of other stuff going on, I need to have videos scheduled. So I think right now I have videos scheduled to release every other day up to December of 2024.
Oh gosh!
So like I could die tomorrow, and DuckBricks will live on for at least another couple of years.
Rewind again. You said every other day?
I think that's what it's at. Yeah, it's I've got like an Excel spreadsheet up where I just have my videos for the next 2 years. Maybe this is a bit neurotic, but I have the spreadsheet up. It's every other.
No, it's not. It's not the spreadsheet that's neurotic. No. It is wild. I am fascinated by the sheer amount of time that you were able to film all this ahead of time. That is incredible, especially if they're like all really lengthy videos. So if it's like an hour video, what is that like? Is that like 3 hours of footage, or is it like an hour and 10 minutes of footage? Like, how do you, like, how, really, like, what is your process, and like, how are you able to produce that content in such a way? Is it like, do you have an editor? Like, please tell us more, because as I also work full time and, manage a house, and hopefully we'll be starting a family and stuff. And like, the idea of like, do you not cook your meals? Do you I'm curious, like, what do you do in your life that like you make it possible? Because do you have like a time turner? Like, what is happening?
I think that maybe this is not the most healthy thing, but I've learned that I can go on like not a lot of sleep and be very productive.
Hold on a second. Hold on. You just graduated last year from UPenn for undergrad or grad school?
Well, it was undergrad, but I did a dual degree program in 4
or 5 years. Okay, got it.
So I was studying entrepreneurial management at the Wharton School for Business. Then I was
Don't care. Hold on. I'm just gonna like nullify all of it. It's fine. Don't care about your resume. Hold on a second. You're 20, you got to be like 24, 23, right?
22 right now.
22. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. I got it. That's it. I know now. That's how you do it. I didn't realize you were so young. That's amazing. Congratulations. Enjoy that youth. I used to also sleep 4 hours a night when I was younger. I went to 7 years of architecture school and slept that way. And yes, and it was very possible. And I thought I was a machine. And like, do what you can. I mean, man, why don't you just catch up until like 2020 or not 2020, 2030? So like when you get to the age where you're not gonna be able to do that, you're like, I'm coasting at this point.
I'm well aware there's a time limit on like how long.
That's awesome. I got it. Okay.
Physically sustain this level of work. So that's why I'm like, okay, let me just spend every possible hour like getting stuff set for the future, because I know that I can. I mean, I definitely know, like, even in college I was able to do like, I guess, a few all-nighters in a row. I can't do that. Like, I can't do a second one. And that was like, okay, I could do that 2 years ago. I can't do that anymore. I know the time, and then like for health and all, like it's definitely there is a point at which I cannot do it. So I'm doing as much as I can now.
Okay, good.
At least you know there's a limit.
Regardless, it's still super motivating to hear about your productivity levels. It's incredible.
Right?
Yeah, so
insufficient.
Yeah, congratulations.
And Shy also doesn't sleep.
Yeah, and I still don't sleep.
Shy has a different reason
why I don't sleep.
You can also go to war and have PTSD. That's another way to like not have to sleep.
I have to drug myself to go to sleep. Wait, hold on. Let's put it back in a positive note. So if you record pretty much all the free time you have, do you essentially walk as much backwards as you do forward? Sorry, I had to.
These are the important questions. We don't care about your dual degree program. We don't care that you went to Wharton. I mean, obviously, it's incredible. Congratulations. These are great degrees. Yeah, we're just at least I'm so far away from school that like I just do not care anymore. But like, but it's also I'm more fascinated by your like 2 years worth of videos that are like uploaded. I can't even. I am dying and trying to get one video out a month, and like I cannot get it together. So that's why I'm just like dumbfounded. Okay, so tell us more about your process. If it's not just not sleeping, obviously.
Yeah, no, well, I think there's some that definitely take up more work than others. The ones that take up the most work are actually the ones that don't involve my collection at all. And those are I do a series, like a retold series, where I did a series called Bionicle Retold, where I would just summarize the entire story of Bionicle and go through
anthology, history.
Right. I'm doing it for Ninjago. That's all done and edited, but it's currently publishing, I think, every 2 weeks, because I like to space it out. Right now, I think what I'm working on is like one for Chima, one for Galdor, and one for Nexo Knights. It's like just to like summarize the story stuff.
That'll be a lot of fun to watch.
I would say probably the most amount of work, because they're probably the only videos that are scripted that I ever put out. Like none of my videos are scripted other than those. So there is a time to script things. If like I've got the Ninjago document and it's 400 pages, like Times New Roman sized 11 of just like the entire script of like what I say in each of the videos. So that takes like a lot of time. And then it's like, okay, I need to put all the clips in, cut it down to less than like 10 seconds per footage, or else YouTube's going to copyright strike me.
Yeah.
It's still happening. I think that's the most annoying thing about it, actually. And then it's like, okay, well, I want to make like the soundtrack as it's playing match the scene. So I like, after doing that, I record it, then I cut down the clips, then I like make the soundtrack actually match what's going on in the scene. So those are definitely the most work. And I'll never start to publish a long form like series like that until I have all of it done.
Wow.
So it's like, I think last year I started it and I had everything done except for the final season, which was airing last year. So then obviously once that finished, I just got that one done. But the goal was to just have all of it done so I would not have to stress about like making a gigantic video about that every 2 weeks, which is, I mean, it feels like a lot of time, I guess, but it also like, I feel like it could really catch up on me if I'm doing other stuff in life. I just wouldn't have time to do that. There are a lot of videos that are very, very quick. And it's just a matter of like, okay, I built the set during work meetings. Let me now like I've got 15 minutes in between my next work meeting. Let me just put it on this review studio and film a 15-minute review of it. And that's all the editing I need. So those are like, I can crank out a ton of those where it's like, I just build during work time or like other time when I'm doing stuff. And then I can just do the reviews in between random meetings. So those are nice. And then occasionally I'll do like, here's a showcase of every set of one theme. And those are fairly time consuming, but the time consuming part is recording it and not in editing, which is nice because I mean, once it's recorded, that's basically no editing either. So it's more like, okay, I need to unhang everything from the ceiling, undo all the string stuff, like put them on this platform, do the video, and then rehang them up on the ceiling where I just got them from.
Okay.
So that's like, okay, maybe like 4 or 5 hours worth of work. And I'll just do that before sleeping or something. And then I guess other categories of videos, I've started like a Lego history type series, which actually does take a good amount of work because those are also scripted and I put a little bit more effort into video, but I did a history on like a little known project that Lego was trying to launch in the early 2000s called Project Genesis. And I went deep into the history of that and why it failed and why it didn't come to be. But I think those are the only two that are scripted. It's the history stuff and that. And then if I ever go on a trip, which I love to travel, so I travel fairly often, I'll just try to find any Lego related thing to do on the trip.
And then you'll vlog that. Yeah.
And then I'll just like put all the footage in my editing software, play them, and just talk over it as it's playing. So it's fairly smooth process, but it definitely is a lot of work. And there are months where I do not touch the YouTube channel at all. I think like in the past month and a half, I don't think I really paid any attention at all to any videos that were coming out. And then there are other months where it's like, okay, I'm going to be working on this like during work or in work meetings or like after work and stuff like that. But I enjoy making videos, so it's a fun process, but it definitely is a balance of like social life, work life, and then Lego life. It's always trying to like block that out in my life schedule. That's always a fun task.
Yeah, no, very cool. That's pretty amazing. I guess my question is like when you get like new sets that are relevant, then do you just like want to drop them in and like push out the schedule and like move stuff around and stuff? Okay. Because obviously there's like time sensitivity things that obviously you want to get out, but that's really cool. Well, if you haven't checked out your channel recently, you did pass 100,000 subscribers, FYI.
I realized that when I came home and like, that was very, I realized that I think a little bit after the fact, but it was very exciting. I have a lot of videos planned for that. I did not think it would happen so soon. So I didn't actually record. Like I like to make videos, but I was like, I don't know when I'm going to reach 100K. So I'm not going to even record that until I do it. And I thought I would be back when it happened. I was still out of town when it happened. So it's a very exciting milestone.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's very exciting. Yeah. Now, like, what are you going to do? You've batch recorded, everything's scheduled out. Like you gotta, no. I'm poking fun at you. That's very, very cool. Yeah, I don't know. Shai, do you have any questions? So Shai and I, like I used to do content that was like a little bit lower on the editing thing. And, and you honestly, like sometimes I could pump out something in like 30 minutes, like from filming, editing, and whatever. And it's kind of, at least for the projects that I do, they're like multi-year projects, so there's something so satisfying about like producing something really quickly. And then I wasn't crazy about it. It wasn't the right fit for me. And then I just did 3 videos that are like a lot more editing lengthy. I like, do animations and I create my own graphics for it. It's like this whole thing. Right. And so, and like Shy does a lot of that as well. And like does like really lengthy editing processes. And so like when we heard that you got so far ahead, it's even if you're doing like those 15 minutes like turnaround videos, it's still crazy. It's still incredible like how much you've accumulated. Like for me, when I'm like in between meetings, I'm like, I'm gonna go stretch. I'm gonna go like I'm gonna go get my 10 minutes of like morning sun. I'm gonna go empty the dishwasher. I'm gonna go like make breakfast for the next week or something, so like, but like in my, it is totally productive. But in my head, it's like, what if I replaced all those times? What if I like didn't do laundry? Like didn't, like that would be cool. I mean, I'm not saying you don't do laundry, but that would be kind of a cool way to like test it out for like a week and like just do that.
Right.
And I don't know. That's kind of like a thought experiment I'm having as you're talking. I was like, crap, there used to be more hours in the day for me. I used to do more. Also, I think the pandemic has made me like a lot slower at functionality. Yeah. And obviously like, you did most of college during the pandemic, which was probably like a weird experience.
Ooh, that was
true.
Ups and downs for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I can only imagine that, anyway, do you have any questions?
I'm still like,
I know, I can tell.
This doesn't happen too much where I'm like, I feel very insufficient in my life. It doesn't take that as a compliment because that doesn't happen to me often. Usually I'm just like, suck it up. And there's really none of that for you. So like, so for a lot of creators out there, if we're going to continue with this path, a lot of creators out there as we say to a lot of new people who are coming in, trying to make a name for themselves, like there's a high barrier of entry as far as the quality of your content. And you either have to be really good at your personality, what you're saying, or you have to be a really good editor. And if you can do both, then you have one great advantage over a lot of people who are coming on. And especially in the Lego space where it's like, at this point, very oversaturated with like, similarities between each creator from one another. To stick out the way you do simply by just hitting record and uploading it, there's a lot that it would be interesting to dissect there. Your highest viewed videos, all of them are over an hour, which is crazy. But you
probably noticed that I'm gonna have to check myself now to figure out what are the highest viewed because I haven't paid that much attention.
I would think there are a lot of your collection videos.
Yeah. Oh,
well, it's got to be like it can't be like the one-off review because that stuff like that stuff like fades after the popularity goes away, right? So it's got to be like maybe the like histories of or whatever, something like lengthy. People love to like put those on, and like listen to it like a podcast and like walk around. And then I think like I would assume like the RPM and the CPM are great on those things. That's awesome.
Well, they would have to be for it to be pushed out to the millions. Like it's like I think if we were to like put it against another creator like when Half Asleep Chris does like building 100 Lego sets in like
but he does like a 15-minute video still.
I know, but like but still the idea of like a bunch of things as opposed to breaking up into 100 different videos, he puts it in one, right? So here we have another Chris, but we have you showing off all of Ninjago or all of Bionicle or my entire Lego room, and then you have like your thumbnail of literally every Lego set that you can buy. I think it's a very like intriguing, interesting, like this you don't see every day. There's
a lot of vicarious like people being like, oh, that's like so, I wish I could walk in a Lego store and get like whatever, or like I remember this one video where I don't know where you were, but you like I remember watching it and you had pre-organized with the Lego store your purchase, and I think you had left with like a rolling cart, like because it was like a lot of really big sets. And I was like, that is like a childhood fantasy is like to do that. You know what I mean? And it's like just the idea, it's like it is such a flex though for you know what I mean, as like to like roll with like the rolling cart of Lego. And so, and it was definitely It was really, and you know, like Sans used to work at the Lego store, and that like would happen every once in a while. Like there was like some kid who I remember we were there for like May 4th or something. Maybe this is before he started working there. He some kid, he had to have been like 12, and he's like, I made a lot of money off Bitcoin, and he probably bought like $4,000 worth of Lego and on May 4th, and I was like thinking to myself, I was like, is this a good thing that this kid is experiencing this? I mean, obviously it's a good thing. He's like, his parents gave him money to like invest in Bitcoin. He probably didn't even know what Bitcoin was. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Like, but I like to be like in your early 20s or like, you know, like having a concept of money and then rolling out with that cart. That's awesome. It is fun. It is fun to watch those like mega videos of that. I feel like anybody in the community can like kind of comprehend and have a little bit of excitement watching something like that, you know?
Plus, we don't see that often, like every set together. And a lot of people like to do, if they can have the ability to, will try to group everything of like a specific theme that they can. I mean, and I think like, you know, there's a love behind that. Like, oh, I was able to collect a full collection of something. Yeah. But for you, it's like, I got this one, but I also have this one on top of this one. You can put all these years together, like all of Ninjago. So, like, and the one thing that's great about that is that you have these collections from different, like, really niche but strong fandoms within the Lego. Like Bionicle, it's a very like cultish but like strong community.
That's a good way of
Ninjago, very cultish but strong community. Star Wars, probably the biggest one out of all of them. And to Lego at this point, you know. You could literally flex on like literally every Star Wars person out there and be like, look.
I don't know about that. There are some crazy Lego Star Wars collectors out there. I think,
but you have a large Star Wars collection and some.
Yeah, which is it's very cool. It's really fun. Mm-hmm. It's very like there's this kind of like childlike, maybe not. I don't want to say like naive or anything, but it's this like fascination with like, oh my god, that's so. It's like it's there's something childlike wonder to it. Do you know what I mean?
No,
yeah,
and it's totally get it. Yeah. I feel the same way every time I walk into my own collection.
Exactly. What's
your day like? I want to know what that feels like. Like, what do you do when you walk downstairs?
You know, I spend a lot of time just like laying on the floor and looking at it. I think that's just
because that's something that has to be asked. Like, if anyone out there that collects something like, you know, what I have behind me, what Ninja has in front of them, like. You spend a lot of effort, time, money, and sweat to be able to obtain something that's really priced out through a lot of people. But that could be anything too. That could be like my motorcycle. That can be your stamp collection, whatever it is. Yeah. But once you achieve it, like you go through all this work to achieve it, and then what do you do with it?
Then I think the answer is, I guess, make DuckBricks videos and one day open a Lego museum. I guess that is the answer.
There we go.
Lego museum is a cool idea. I think. I like the idea of getting all this stuff, accumulating it, and it's like in a public way, sharing it.
Yes.
So, do you see it as like it being precious and behind glass, or do you see it as like an interactive experience? Because unfortunately, because of like the materiality of the plastic, it does become brittle, and it would be an unfortunate thing, obviously, to if it's played with, but it's also a toy, so it's supposed to be played with. You know what I mean? So like, what's the?
I play with my Lego more. Not shown on YouTube a ton, but I feel like I like enjoy playing with Lego a lot. But no, I feel like with Lego, a lot of my interests and I guess passions in life stem from Lego, and because of that, it's like one of the things I'm really passionate about is like getting the interest in like STEM and building and creating your own stuff and like creativity in general out there. And that's why I really love showcasing like the Lego collection. That's why I really want to do a Lego museum one day, is to be able to actually say like, if I could like inspire somebody to maybe get into STEM or get into engineering and stuff by like getting into Lego as a young kid, I feel like it's a really positive thing for folks to be able to rally behind. So I think that like my goal for like a Lego museum one day would be to have a bit of a mix where it's like, here's an area where you can go crazy and play with stuff. Here's an area where it's like glassed off and rare stuff showcased. I think what would be really cool is if the gift shop was like a used Lego store where it's like you can like come in and like trade in your Lego at the gift shop at the museum. I think that would be a really fun thing, because at that point I could just make the museum, I don't know, like free to enter, and then just have it be like sustained by the gift shop, which obviously that's years and years down the line, but I think really that's hopefully the goal, and definitely it's something I've been working towards, saving up a lot of money to be able to launch something like that in the future, and fingers crossed, I guess. But I feel like that would be really cool to be able to like have a place where people could come in and like see it themselves.
Yeah, there's a few. I think I don't know about. I mean, maybe like 2 or 3 creators on the YouTube space that have made somewhat of a museum. I know Brick Vault did one.
Right. Yeah.
Germany. What are they called? Oh, I forgot. They're making a museum right now. Either way, but there's been multiples of them. Yeah, there we go, Brickcraft. So like, you know, they just, you know, creating their whole giant city layout, and you know, So, you know, but at a certain point, when you finally do accomplish that and it's self-sustaining, it becomes like a destination now for like Lego fans. And especially when you get out there. So like you being in Seattle, let's say you do it in Seattle, and like you're relatively close to, well, yeah, you are Bricks Cascade when that convention happens, and then you know, BrickCon as well. So like really like you get a lot of what you need to sustain for the entire year with just all those people. But you create something where like, oh shoot, we're here. Yeah. Oh, let's go to DuckBricks' museum and let's just check it out. And you know, I've never been to a quote Lego museum officially, like, you know, of someone's entire collection, but I have been to something close, like, you know, Brickmania's GHQ, where you know they have all their military builds that they've ever made. Right. And all their stores are kind of like similar, where they have some giant attraction that kind of you could appreciate for what it is. Like, you know, one of the stores has the giant USS Macon Island, which is like a giant marine amphibious ship down here in San Diego. And then you have like the USS Missouri up to where Claire's at, close to San Francisco. So these giant warships, and just seeing it in Lego is like really cool. And that's enough to make you really appreciate what it is. But like, there's a draw and like a fascination when you start grouping a bunch of Lego together with purpose. They will come. And that's the hope. Well, and also we forget, like, that's just fans. A small portion of the entire Lego sphere, because there's a bunch of people that don't share any content. There's a bunch of people that are not plugged into social media. There's a bunch of people who are just kids, and they just really want to either be get into like what they're seeing in front of them, because, you know, the kids and it's Lego, and, you know, the parents want their kids to see something cool. So like, I really do think, and I hope that I don't see it as something that you wouldn't be able to accomplish based on what you've achieved thus far in your life. So I do think it's a very attainable thing for you if you like really want to just be, hey, let's open one up tomorrow. How do we do it?
So. Yeah, that's I think definitely something that would be really, really cool. And I hope I can make it work.
Yeah, we do too, because I want to see it.
Oh yeah.
Which leads to another question right quick.
I'll be there.
Sure.
How do you organize your Lego? Because you're going to eventually have to move it all if that happens.
Yeah, no, that's a good, actually, I mean, it's funny you bring that up. My goal is actually to be able to move out because right now it's located in the basement of my parents' house. I just graduated last year. My goal was to work for Microsoft for about a year and amass some amount of money to be able to move out and relocate it. I'm actually looking to potentially move into a new place as early as like next year or the year after that. So I really do need to start thinking about like, how am I going to move all this? I do want to stay in Washington State, so it'd be mostly just my car. And I've got a lot of friends who they've offered like, oh yeah, we'll help you drive some stuff over. But it definitely will be a fun experience moving. The way it's organized right now is that I've tried to separate out like minifigures from themes that I really like to collect in the walls going down to the basement. So we've got like collectible minifigures and all the Ninjago stuff, like the ninjas and the villains, and then like everything Star Wars but grouped in different categories. Like here's all like the clone troopers and stormtroopers, here's all the officer minifigures, here's all the rebel minifigures, here's all the Jedi, stuff like that. And it kind of goes down the walls by theme. There's also like, I've mounted every dinosaur mold on the wall here as well, and like random, or like every animal mold is also on the wall. So like random stuff like that. And then when you get into it, I've tried to sort of group things just by theme. Everything in my collection, if it's part of a theme, it's like everything of that theme is grouped in that one area. So I've got, the only exceptions are kind of stuff where it's really big, like Ninjago, where it's like, okay, I'll put all of the wheeled vehicles from Ninjago on this wall. I'll put all the mechs from Ninjago on this wall, and then I'll hang all the flying things from the ceiling. But for regular themes, it's like, okay, like for Lord of the Rings, here are like 3 shelves that are just all the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit sets. Like Western, right next to it, you've got all those, and like I don't know, Dino stuff, Jurassic World, Dino Attack, and I try to group things in categories together. And there's a middle island with just loose bricks. And one of the things I've been trying to do is I simply do not have the time to sort the pieces, but I would love to have them be sorted. So I've been trying to find people to actually pay to sort them. I've got a couple of my friends, like I'm paying them to sort my used Lego, but I think it's a little bit harder for them because they're not really Lego fans. So it's a little bit harder for them to figure out like, where does this random piece go? But I gave him like a bit of a rundown, and it seems to be going okay so far. Well, I mean, my boy billed me last night, so I sure hope it's going okay. But yeah, definitely like trying to find somebody I can pay to sort stuff, because I would love to have my parts collection sorted so I could maybe do mocks and stuff. A lot of people ask like, why don't you do mocks? The big question is that like, I just don't have time to like make them with parts not being sorted. It's not something that's possible.
Yeah, it's
so that's a goal for the collection at some point in the future, but you know, who knows when that will metastasize, because it's just a lot of random bulk that people give me. But yeah, that's generally how it's sorted. We've got like a room for, I mentioned like a room for all Technic stuff just on the wall. Oh, one deviation from themes that I do put up is like I have collected all of the mechs from every theme and put them all up on one wall. So it's like here's like every mech Lego's ever made across any themes, like Marvel, DC, but also like Agents and Nexo Knights and Shima, and like every possible mech it's on that wall. But otherwise, pretty much all the sets are sorted by theme, and that's how they're categorized.
Have you like started to game plan moving it?
You know, I've been wanting to reorganize like everything for a very long time. I would like to take everything down from the ceiling and like put them up in a much more space efficient manner. So I'm actually very excited to be able to start fresh. I think that my plan for moving is really, it's just going to have to be in chunks. And I found that like saran wrapping Lego is really like helpful in terms of being able to just make sure it stays together. Like I've flown cross country, I've flown like from overseas and back, saran wrapped built Lego models, and they stay pretty much intact. So my goal is to do that. I think it's definitely going to be probably like a multi-week process where like every weekend, that's all I'm doing is just moving things from one place to another, setting up have a smart organizational system of let's move everything over that we want to hang up first so we can move it over, put those up so they're off the floor, and then we can move in the other stuff, maybe the wall mounting stuff, put those up on the walls, and then we move over the shelf stuff. So it will be a process, but I think my friends and I are very excited to make a video on it eventually. There's a lot more people working on or I guess a lot more people helping like film DuckBricks videos than actually appear. I've got like a couple buddies who love to help film, and like sometimes they're in videos, but they prefer to just like help me film and stuff. So it's we've got a good group in Seattle. Cool. That should be a fun time moving stuff over. Yeah.
You have a little DuckBricks team of just friends.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right? That's cool to have like friends that are really down for what you do. Like one of my brothers that in my motorcycle club literally showed up as we were recording our last episode at the end of it. Yeah. And he was asking me, he literally came in and be like, hey, am I still bringing your mock to Chicago? I'm like, did I even ask you to do that? Like, yeah. He's like, yeah, man, I've been following blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, you... But it's cool to have like a supportive group like that. Well, the question is though, because I'm viewing this as a parent now. Yeah. Like, do you know what your parents are going to do with the space once it's free to them?
Well, I think they've been wanting to convert it into an exercise room. And I think that's definitely what they want to do with it. I'm sure they'll be
gym right there. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'm sure they'll be very, it'll be mixed feelings, but I mean, I think the big positive for them will be they get a lot of square footage back. So I'm very, very grateful that they've been really supportive in everything that I want to do when they can, and they're really like happy to support the Lego hobby. They've helped me and they've helped support me in everything that I want to pursue in my life. So they've been wonderful, but I'm sure that they will also be very, very happy, and it will be wonderful for them to have that space back. So that's why I'm also trying to move out as quickly as I possibly can within like monetary and financial reason.
Yeah, the other side to that, which you kind of almost mentioned, is it is gonna hit them. I think it's gonna be sad.
Yeah,
because it's that's it. It's official. You're gone, and then like you're doing your own thing, which you're already doing. But like the youth part of the whole Lego experience that they've taken part of your entire life is like.
Shy is like pushing himself like in 18 years from now with his own son and daughter.
Making a pair makes you like really soft, man.
And he's really sad. And
Craig.
I can understand, but like Ezra might not be interested in the Lego.
Oh no, he doesn't. I can care, he doesn't care about that.
Ezra
I'm just saying like the idea of because lately it's like a lot of my stuff that comes on my like short form content feeds as far as my personal Instagram and like personal like other stuff is like, oh, you better enjoy this time now while your kids really care about you, because in like 2 years they're gone, they don't care. You're gonna do their own things and eventually you're gonna leave the nest. So like this little time frame of what my kids are now, like 3 and 5, like it's very, very, very specific. Yeah, it's probably the most headache and difficult time that you think you're going to have with your children. But honestly, it's like you're going to miss them writing on the wall with a permanent marker, like all over the place where you're like, oh, I got to repaint this whole house. But you're going to miss that time. And like watching someone like you who still has all the collection in their house, happy that it's organized and clean and neat. So at least you have that. But like it's a big part of your life. And then it just one day it's going to be gone. And then that's it. And the soft parent in me is like going to a spot which doesn't exist yet for me, but like I could maybe one day like be sympathetic one day be empathetic towards that.
You can project.
But you can focus on you can project. But you can focus on the accomplishments,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, no, of course.
It doesn't have to all be sad.
I know, but still, come on, you're almost there, dude.
I mean, I know. That's why I gotta break it down.
I'm gonna say it like that.
There's nothing sad about that.
Yeah, his kids are older, so he's
Well, I think this is a good place to call it for right now. But before we do, does anyone else have anything?
No, looking forward to the next 2 years of videos that you've already uploaded. It's wild. That was wacky. That's so cool.
So we're gonna see a video.
Are you gonna keep getting ahead, or are you gonna like start work? Are you working on really like the big videos now?
Well, the thing is, there are various stages of progress from even beyond that. Because what I do is I record all the intros and outros one after another for hours on end. So if you notice, like, I don't know if people like watch multiple videos, but it's like I'll be wearing the same outfit for like months of videos and like looking identical, because I'll just go up and down the stairs, up and down, over and over again, recording like intro, outro down the list, and then the rest of the content can come later. So it's definitely something in flux. There are some. I don't think it's like 100% full. There's maybe a couple gaps where it's like, yeah, I want to do a bigger video like here, and here. Let me not do that first. But it's the latest scheduled video is like December 2024. But it will keep on going, and I'll keep on filling the gaps. I definitely have a lot of work to do for more stuff. But I love making videos. I don't really think a lot about like algorithms or trends or stuff, and I just make videos that I personally like making and I would like to see. Sometimes they are very odd and out there Lego related topics that not everyone is interested in or knows about, but I do it for fun. It's a bit of a de-stressor for me. So it's like I'll de-stress a bit, make some videos, and then so it's a fun time.
Last backwards question.
Sure.
You know exactly like how many steps you have when you walk?
Ooh. I could probably essentially game it out in my head.
Yeah, okay, 10 steps walking this way, then turn right. 3 steps, then turn right.
I never realized it would be that big of a thing until people started commenting about it. Because I feel like when I have a lot of friends, like I hold social events at my house like every week. And when I have friends over, I introduce them to the Lego collection by walking backwards.
As you should.
So it's something that like I feel like it's just so intrinsic for me that I started doing it for videos because it was just convenient. I was like, okay, well, we can like highlight some of the like walk into the Lego collection for each video intro. Why not? Because it'll like people will be like, oh, what's that? Like, let's look at that. And everyone started commenting about the walking backwards. And I think for me, it actually took a couple of weeks to be like, what are they all commenting? Like, what do they mean? Like, why is he walking backwards? I was like, oh, no, that's right. Like, I am walking backwards in my intro. So I feel like it was very a subconscious thing for me where, like, I probably could do it blindfold. I think maybe, I don't know if it's been published yet, but there is a video where, like, for a gag, I did it blindfolded. So maybe, I don't know if that's out yet, but it was like a blind building challenge. And
oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
So
Keep your eyes posted.
yeah, I guess so.
Well, in that case, can you plug your newest video in 2024?
Yeah, well, okay, so let's see. Tune in, sort by date. Oh, no, 2025. Oh, no, okay.
Gosh.
January 16, 2025. There'll be a mini review on a couple of obscure LEGO DC superhero girl sets. January 16, 2025.
Looking forward to it. Yeah. Amazing.
Oh.
Well, on that note, let's roll that music. Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. I'd love to do it again sometime.
Oh, we're gonna have you back. We're not done.
Okay.
Bye. Oh, dude, that was good. Thank you.